The fall of Bashar al-Assad's regime marks a historic turning point for Syria. For years, the country has been under the tight grip of authoritarian rule, with limited freedoms and widespread oppression. The end of this regime brings a mix of emotions for the Syrian people: relief, hope, and uncertainty. The streets of Damascus, once filled with fear and silence, are now buzzing with conversations about the future. People are cautiously optimistic yet aware of the challenges that lie ahead. After decades of authoritarian rule, the country is entering a new era. The future remains uncertain. Challenges are abundant. The political landscape is fragmented, with various factions and groups vying for influence and control. The Syrian people, who have endured years of conflict and hardship, are now looking for stability and peace. The international community watches closely, hoping for a peaceful transition, but preparing for potential turmoil. Yet there is a glimmer of hope for a brighter future. In the midst of the chaos, there are signs of resilience and determination. Children are playing in the streets again, families are beginning to rebuild their homes, and green parks are once again filled with laughter and joy. These small but significant changes reflect the spirit of the Syrian people, who are eager to reclaim their lives and their country. Assad's removal from power signifies the end of an era. His portraits, once omnipresent, are being taken down, and the people are celebrating in the streets. This moment is a symbolic victory for many who have longed for change. However, the removal of a dictator is just the beginning. The real work of rebuilding the nation and establishing a stable government is yet to come. However, it also creates a power vacuum. The departure of Assad's regime has left a void that various factions are eager to fill. Empty government buildings and abandoned checkpoints are stark reminders of the uncertainty that now looms over the country. The military's withdrawal from key areas has created opportunities for different groups to assert their dominance. Various factions are now vying for control. Political meetings are being held, and alliances are being formed. Militia groups are training and preparing for potential conflicts. The Syrian army, once a symbol of Assad's power, is now a fragmented force with divided loyalties. The struggle for control is intense, and the outcome is far from certain. This struggle for power is the biggest immediate challenge. Armed groups are clashing in the streets, and protests and demonstrations are becoming more frequent. The Syrian people are caught in the middle, yearning for peace but facing the harsh realities of a power struggle. The road ahead is long and fraught with difficulties, but the hope for a better future remains strong in the hearts of many. Several groups are vying for control in the post-Assad era. Hayat Tahrir al-Sham, or HTS, controls Damascus. However, HTS faces internal divisions and external pressure. Other armed groups are also present. The presence of multiple armed groups raises concerns about stability. Clashes between these groups could easily erupt. This instability could further devastate Syria. The international community is watching closely. The Syrian people have endured unimaginable suffering. Years of conflict have created a catastrophic humanitarian crisis. Millions are displaced, both internally and as refugees in neighboring countries. The humanitarian crisis is dire. Access to basic necessities like food, water, and healthcare is severely limited. The infrastructure is devastated. Rebuilding Syria will require a massive international effort. Despite the daunting challenges, there are signs of hope. Schools and universities are gradually reopening. There is cautious optimism about the potential for refugee returns. The international community has expressed support for a peaceful transition. Many countries are willing to assist with humanitarian aid and reconstruction efforts. However, stability is crucial for progress. Section 5. Charting a path forward. Peace and reconstruction. The most hopeful scenario for Syria's future is a peaceful transition to a democratic and inclusive government. This vision is shared by many Syrians who have endured years of conflict and hardship. They dream of a nation where their voices are heard, their rights are respected, and their future is secure. The journey towards this goal is fraught with challenges, but the resilience and determination of the Syrian people offer a beacon of hope. This transition would require a new constitution and free and fair elections. A new constitution would lay the foundation for a democratic society, ensuring that all citizens are treated equally under the law. Free and fair elections would give the people the power to choose their leaders and hold them accountable. This process would be a significant step towards building a stable and prosperous Syria. International support would be crucial for this transition. The global community has a vested interest in seeing Syria emerge from the shadows of war and into the light of peace. International organizations such as the United Nations can play a pivotal role in facilitating dialogue and providing the necessary resources to support this transition. Diplomatic efforts would be essential in bringing together various factions and ensuring that the peace process is inclusive and comprehensive. This support would include financial aid, technical expertise, and diplomatic efforts to bring all parties to the negotiating table. Financial aid would help rebuild the country's infrastructure, provide essential services, and support economic development. Technical expertise would be needed to draft a new constitution, organize elections, and build the institutions necessary for a functioning democracy. Diplomatic efforts would be crucial in mediating conflicts, building trust, and ensuring that all voices are heard in the peace process. Together, these efforts can help Syria chart a path towards a brighter future. Section 6. The Specter of Continued Conflict. In this section, we delve into the ongoing struggles that continue to plague Syria, a nation that has been ravaged by years of relentless warfare and turmoil. The specter of continued conflict looms large over the country, casting a shadow over any hopes for a peaceful resolution. Unfortunately, the road to peace is fraught with obstacles. The once vibrant streets of Aleppo now lie in ruins, a stark reminder of the devastation that has befallen this ancient city. Homes that once housed families are now reduced to rubble, and the war-torn streets tell a tale of suffering and loss. There is a real risk of continued conflict and instability. Armed groups continue to clash, each vying for control and power. The Syrian militia, along with various factions, engage in street battles that leave communities in constant fear. The fragile ceasefires are often broken, leading to renewed violence and bloodshed. Clashes between armed groups could escalate into another civil war. The potential for a full-scale civil war remains high, as tensions between different factions show no signs of abating. Urban areas become battlegrounds with civilians caught in the crossfire, their lives upended by the relentless fighting. Continued conflict would be disastrous for Syria. The landscapes of Syria, once beautiful and thriving, are now devastated. Bombed-out cities stand as monuments to the destruction that has taken place. The aftermath of conflict leaves a trail of despair and hopelessness, with entire communities struggling to rebuild their lives. It would exacerbate the humanitarian crisis, make political progress impossible, and potentially draw in regional powers. The humanitarian crisis in Syria is already dire, with millions of refugees living in camps, dependent on aid for survival. Continued conflict would only worsen their plight, making it even harder to achieve any form of political progress. Moreover, the instability could draw in regional powers, further complicating the situation and potentially leading to a broader conflict. Section 7. The Looming Threat of Extremism. As we move forward, we will explore the growing threat of extremism that continues to pose a significant challenge to the region. The power vacuum in Syria creates a breeding ground for extremist groups. These groups, including ISIS, could exploit the chaos to regain a foothold. The international community must remain vigilant in its counterterrorism efforts. Preventing the resurgence of ISIS and other extremist groups is crucial for regional and global security. Section 8. Regional Rivalries, a powder keg. Syria's instability also has significant regional implications. Neighboring countries like Turkey, Iran, and Saudi Arabia have vested interests in the outcome. These regional rivalries could easily escalate. The Syrian conflict could become a proxy war between these powers, further destabilizing the region. Section 9. A call for unity and international support. The situation in Syria is complex and perilous. However, amidst the challenges, there is hope. The Syrian people deserve a future free from violence and oppression. The international community must stand united in its support for a Syrian-led solution. This solution should prioritize peace, stability, and the human rights of all.